It's all about it.
Devy Degen, welcome into another episode of the Devy Degen. I'm SC Romero with like a rival, big time guy in the Devy community. I say rival because you know what the Devy duo is. You know, we got the Devy Planet versus Devy Dojo. My guy Tom Harvey is out on vacay, well deserved. So I brought in an expert from the dojo, my guy Chris. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold that my 1-year-old son picked up and was passing around the house, but I feel good enough to record and talk a little bit of ball with you. It's always an honor to be on any of your shows and talk with one of the best in the biz.
There you go, man. I appreciate those kind words. Hope your son's doing well. For everyone tuning in, we are doing a first round 2026 rookie mock draft. We'll talk about some honorable mentions. I'm gonna let my guy Chris talk about the Devy Dojo, all that and a lot more right after our intro.
Breaking down the hate, man, we call it like we see it. Finding all the gems while the rest just sleeping. Freshmen to the league, we ahead of the curve. Picking out the next star, put them on the reserve. From the big time schools to the deep cut finds. Gotta know who's next when it's draft day time. Stock rising, playmaking, watch them ball out. Devy Degen, yeah, no doubt. Yo, it's time to talk the future Devy style. Prospects rising, diamonds shining. Only the real ones grinding. Welcome to the Devy Degens, let's go. Let's go!
Prospects rising. Devy Degen, I'm SC Romero again. My co-host Tom Harvey is out on well-deserved vacation, so I brought in an expert from the dojo, the Devy Dojo, that is my guy Chris. Chris, again, I know you're feeling a little under the weather. I appreciate you joining in,
Absolutely.
man. I know people are excited to hear about this 2026 rookie mock because we're about halfway through the season now. People are ready, you know, if you're in tank mode, you kind of know it, and you got to adjust and understand what these rookies come in. Before we get into our rookie draft, though, Chris, let people know what the Devy Dojo is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a bunch. Devy Dojo, you've probably heard SC talk about our league of record, the Devy Duel. So we have a few like-minded individuals that are playing on behalf of the dojo against the Devy Planet in that league. So we're, we have a nice crew of people in our Discord at the bottom of all of our videos, which you can find on Fantasy Sports Advice Network. You can find links to get into our Discord, just talk ball with a whole bunch of guys that like Devy, that like fantasy, that like just watching football. We got all sorts of stuff on there. Music channels. I saw you posted a link in your in the music channel today. Some videos you've been messing around with.
Yes, sir. I mean, AI is crazy, man. So I like to write my own stuff. So I got some AI doing music for me. So I don't have to go into the booth and record it. I just type it in.
Old school emo stuff.
There you go, man.
Love that.
Gotta get back to our old days, right?
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, the Devy Dojo, we're here for you, man. We're on all audio platforms. Just look for us, Devy Dojo. And then if you want to watch the videos where we usually have some nice graphics and things on there as well, that's at the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. So FSAN. We're on the Grindhouse channel right now. We're being bumped up to the main channel too. So you want to make sure you're subscribed to both of those. We'll have more and more details on those as they release. Looking forward to it. We're prepping our rookie draft for next year, rookie guide for next year too. So lots more to come with us.
There you go. I know y'all got a Substack too with some written content as well, correct?
Absolutely. We just launched that a couple weeks ago. Thanks for the plug on that.
Yeah.
Right now it's completely free. Our boy Josh is writing with us as well. So there's 3 of us that are putting out at least 3 articles every week for you. I do risers and fallers that releases every Wednesday. Nice. Josh does a freshman watch list, and Dustin does the weekly games to watch for Devy players.
There you go. Well, definitely, if you are tuning into the Devy Dojo, make sure, as you mentioned, you got the Shifu with Chris, you got the Sensei with Dustin, and the Shinobi with Josh there as well. All great experts there. Definitely a channel y'all need to watch and tune in for them. They have phenomenal content as well. So again, appreciate you joining in, Chris. But yeah, the core of the show is gonna be, we're gonna do a first round 2026 rookies only. So guys that are eligible for this next year. Some, if something happens, they could stay. So a lot of this could definitely change. But we're gonna give you an idea of where our minds are at right now as we scout these players. This is what our bread and butter is, right? Looking at these players and what they're gonna do. Shout out my guy Jamie joining in. Appreciate you joining in, Jamie. And our guy Amir says no fewer than 5 wide receivers in this first round. We're gonna see how it ends up, but maybe
I think
not.
he's right
Maybe.
about that.
Yeah, I agree. But Chris, as you are the guest, I'm gonna let you. We just for everyone know, on some of these shows, we do have like a pre-written draft board, and we're discussing them. I don't know who Chris's guys are. He doesn't know what my board looks like. So we're just going in there like it is an actual rookie draft in your leagues. You don't know who the guy's going to take in front of you. So that's the whole purpose of the show. Really to adjust on the fly, if you will. We're not having a clock or anything like that. But, we want to make sure everyone understands, all right, look, I don't know what Chris is taking. He may take the guy that I'm thinking that gets to 105, and the next thing you know, it's 102, whatever it is. But I'm going to let you choose, Chris. We're going to alternate our picks. Would you rather have the 101 or the 102?
I'm going to take 101, I think. Just
okay.
Jump right in, dive in head first.
There you go.
Like you said, man, it's so crazy right now. My board's changed so much. I don't even have a set like 12 in order. I just have by position kind of my rankings right now.
Fair.
And the reason I want 101, I think if you would have asked me maybe even a month ago, I would have wanted it for Lenora Sellers because I like that guy a lot. I love the upside that he brings to a fantasy game. I'm not even convinced that he's coming out necessarily for the draft. I think that's yet to be determined. He's probably maybe top 4 at best right now when you look at some of the other quarterbacks on the board. I still like his fantasy upside more than the other quarterbacks, but I'm not ready to take him at 101. I'm ready to just take the only running back I have the most faith in, and that's Jeremiyah Love. Coming off of his almost 300-yard game last week.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, he's been at the top of everybody's running back boards, all off season into the year. He had, I don't know if it was a slow start necessarily, but he was ceding a lot of carries and touches to Jadarian Price, who's a great running back in his own right early on in the year. But everything we're seeing out of him, he's still pacing for a ton of yards, a ton of touchdowns, and everything you want out of a modern NFL running back. And I think that his stock is rising. He's probably going to be a first rounder. I think there's a chance he goes in the top 15 of this draft. So
nice.
I'm really excited to see where he lands. There's a couple of those teams right now that maybe have been underperforming a little bit in the NFL. So he might end up on a very good offense kind of in the middle of the first round. And I'm ready to take that shot on him. I just want to get him off the board because, as Amir said, there's like a million wide receivers that I like in this first round. So with the first pick, I want to lock in RB, talent running back, Jeremiyah Love.
Fair. No, I absolutely love that pick. I think you're right on the money as far as he probably will be the unquestioned RB1. There's some guys we can argue that could take that role, but I do think Jeremiyah Love is most likely to be in the first round contention just based on his statistic and what he's done on the field for multiple years. You're able to see that. It's allowed teams to get a lot of tape on him to say, all right, he's the top guy. You did mention a slower start, but, I've been saying the offseason, Notre Dame, all they need is love, right? All they need is love in there. No hate there, just all love. Give the ball to it, make it happen, and that's what's going to be 101. I think for me that's one of the highest I've done in mocks where I see him, but it makes sense. When you're talking about tier levels, I feel Love may be at a whole tier by himself, and then we're going to talk about other running backs as well. So I like that you did take that. And if you would ask me at the beginning of the season what 101 would be without dropping any names, I would have said a quarterback. I would have been like, this would be a quarterback class.
Absolutely,
we're 10 quarterbacks going in the first round, something crazy. A lot of stuff has happened this year where right now I have 3 that are possibly 4 going in the first compared to what I thought might have been. A lot of them had dropped off. So absolutely love that.
Yeah, and when you just look at we thought that RB was going to be a strength of this last draft class, and it certainly was, but you're talking about like Henderson's almost useless at this point.
Right.
Caleb is useless at this point. So we've got a couple of those guys who really fell from grace a little bit from what we thought that they were going to be doing. And as a result, there's really this isn't a great running back class.
Yeah.
He's the guy who's the clear-cut number 1 at that position for me. So I'd rather just knock that out and then use the rest of the picks in this draft for other positions.
Love it. No, love it. Great pick. A lot of much argument will come with people taking Jeremiyah Love in that class as well. Even if he's not I don't think he's going to be the 101 in the NFL draft, but still, sometimes we just saw Ken Ward. I mean, he wasn't the 101 in this past draft either, right? So makes sense there. So I get the 102. I'm going to go ahead and lock in who I would have taken that 101, so I'm glad you did it. That's going to be the wide receiver Makai Lemon out of USC.
Ooh, nice.
He's not the leading wide receiver. He's second behind, don't know his name right here off the top, Danny Scrivero out of San Jose State. But Makai Lemon is definitely a flex play in the sense that I feel he just fits the mold of what the NFL has as wide receivers this year. Something like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know that's the comp my guy Tom Harvey gives him. He's a little bit more aggressive, I feel like. He's not as necessarily fluid, but he's a lot more quicker and agile to make those moves in his route running. Right now, he has 48 receptions, 758 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Really a big focal point in that USC offense for them, and he's really stepped up. I mean, a big part of why he became on my radars first off is he sent out 2 5-star prospects and Deuce Robinson and Zachariah Branch to lead town because he came out and said, look, I'm the top guy here. And that's exactly what he's been. I mean, I know people said Jacoby Lane as well. Makai Lemon has really been the bread and butter for USC. And I think he's going to do that at the next level. You said Love is going to be a top 15 pick. I think Makai Lemon possibly will be as well. So with that wide receivers, getting a guy that could slip into top 15 wide receiver-ish role in the NFL, I think he fits that because he could play outside. Chances are they're going to move into a slot, have him play that, and he's just going to be a target merchant for any quarterback that he goes to. Any thoughts on Lemon?
Absolutely, man. And I'm a little bit mad that you took him there because I was hoping that you were going to take Jordyn Tyson and make it easier for me to get him at 103. But yeah, he's a fantastic pick right now. You know, we talked about him being maybe a little bit limited more to slot in the NFL, but like you said, that's what people want in the modern NFL. Mm-hmm. That Amon-Ra St. Brown comp looks better every week because he's added a little bit of weight to his game this year. He's being a little bit more all over the field than just relegated to being one of those traditional slot receivers. Right. He's definitely exactly in that mold of a modern day NFL slot receiver. So I love him, man. He's a surefire first round pick. Some team's going to grab him and utilize him. Hopefully he's one of those guys too, with that massive floor, I think. So he's a super safe play with a bit of a ceiling play. So even if he lands on a offense that's less than desirable, that's not necessarily a bad thing for him because he's going to be there. He's going to be open. He's going to get targets from any offense that he's in. Whereas some of those more traditional, alpha type, X type wide receivers, they're not always utilized the best depending on what offense they land in, but he's got a little bit of a better floor as a result of his game. So love that pick there.
Great. I mean, you did. So you thought I was going to take Tyson. Does that mean Jordyn Tyson becomes your 103 there?
Yeah. And, I was debating. I mean, I have all 3 of Tyson, Tate, and Lemon like neck and neck. They're all in a similar tier for me. Okay. Tyson has done enough this season, I think, to maintain wide receiver 1 status for me. He's always been getting NFL buzz. The GMs have been scouting him since fall camp. He just does everything on the field, man. He looks pretty effortless. He's got that nice deep threat ability when he gets past the defenders. He's always putting defenders on skates. He just makes easy, effortless cuts to get open. And what I like the most is just watching tape of him, even when he's not catching the ball. Don't just look at the catches, just watch him on the field. He's just always getting open no matter what, whether the ball is going to him or not, whether he's the first read or the 5th read on the play. Right. He's always out there hustling, and that's the kind of guy I want to invest in because that he's out there for the right reasons. Hopefully it won't develop one of those diva attitudes where he's throwing a hissy fit if he doesn't catch enough balls in a game. You know what I mean? Right, for sure. So I think he's one of the highest ceiling wide receivers in this draft. And I think he's a lot of people's pick to maybe even be 101 at ADP next year. So a lot of that, of course, is going to depend on where he lands. But as we're talking right now in the middle of October, absolutely happy to take him at 103.
No, I actually love that. And of course, a lot of these players' landing spot could mean a lot, right? If Makai Lemon or Jordyn Tyson end up going to, let's say, Chicago, where they just have a crowded room, it's be like, okay, what's going on here, right? But all that can definitely change. What I like about Tyson, I've been saying this, Sam Levitt is good because he has Jordyn Tyson, in my opinion. I think Jordyn Tyson is one of those wide receivers that can elevate a mediocre quarterback to start looking great just because of his ability to, 1, get open, and 2, if he's not open, he's aggressive enough to go up there and catch the ball at the high point and win those contested catches as well. He has very fluid and stiff route running. It's just something you see his cuts, and you're like, man, it's going to cut someone's throat. Just how sharp it is on his cuts, right? He's just very dynamic in what he does. Great field awareness. You can see it all the time where he's going up there. He's tiptoeing on the sideline, always aware where he's at to stay in bounds. Granted, in college, it's 1 foot, and NFL, it's got to be 2 feet. But either way, he's just such a phenomenal player that I actually had him at the 102 and Love at the 103 here. So we took our top 3 guys, where we were at there. So I absolutely love that pick. I think that's great. And again, I want to point out the quarterback situation here is we didn't take him because of how, again, preseason, I would have been like, this is going to be a crazy quarterback class. We're taking 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks. Now I'm thinking, all right, I can take these positional players and get my quarterbacks later, and that way get Club thus far are guys that I think could fall to like the 3rd round, and I'll take a shot on them at that point. But it's like,
right.
I think there's a lot of things that could happen. Again, NFL does a lot of things where first round pick can be 7 quarterbacks. We think maybe 7 teams need a quarterback this upcoming draft class. Could see it. But either way, these guys I think are safer bets. I think they're going to go in better for them. So absolutely love those picks. My top 3 are off the board here now. And you said Carnell Tate was there. I love Carnell Tate. He is there for me. But 104, this is where I started thinking of, all right, what if the NFL draft were to happen? What are mocks saying in the NFL draft? Right now, they're saying the Jets take Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. You get to the 104, and the 101 pick is still there. Let's assume it's Fernando Mendoza. I think that's where you have to go in there and take it. I think at this point, it's like, all right, I'm taking the money here. We know it's going to be a team that trusts him. I mean, the Jets, you can't really say trust, I guess, because it's the Jets. But if they take him, they're investing in him for at least a couple years, at least minimum. So you had that locked in. I will say I don't think he's my top quarterback, but at this point, I'm taking what I believe the rankings will show. And you have, again, the guy that goes 101. I think that's going to transition over to a lot of people taking him early. So at that point, at 104, I would take Fernando Mendoza. He does fit the mold as far as the size, 6'5", 220, just good size for him. I think he's 220, might be less. But he's definitely a quarterback that could go out there and just make the plays. We see him do it with Indiana, and his playmakers aren't necessarily crazy or anything. You can say Elijah Sherrod, 225. You can say Elijah Sherrod is good, but it's not. We're not raving about Elijah Sherrod, right? He's not
right, exactly.
Top guys. Yeah. So he's out there making some big plays and making it happen. 1,700 yards on the season, 21 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He's not turning the ball over, and that's what NFL scouts are really going to see. Someone that can control it, keep the tempo for the offense, take it down the field. I believe Mendoza will be able to do that. Again, at 104, I think at that point, if he's the 101 in the draft, you got to take him there. Any thoughts on Mendoza?
Yeah, I think part of the thing that's been at the top of my to-do list is to watch more Mendoza tape because I wasn't super high on him coming into the season. So I need to go back and watch more because he's been steadily climbing up people's ranks. And at first I was like, I don't believe in it. But, every week he's putting up better and better numbers, and he's, gaining a lot of draft buzz to be potential 101. And like I mentioned before, I'm not sure Lenoris comes out. I'm looking for a little bit more rushing upside from guys that I'm going to take that early in a dynasty draft. So it's tough for me to take a quarterback who's going to mostly pass, especially if he ends up on the Jets. But
for sure,
like I said, there's about 4 quarterbacks who I think are probably locks for the first round at this point. And I don't know what order they're going to go in. I don't think anybody knows what order they're going to go in at this point. And at this point in the draft, 104, if you need a quarterback, I don't see why you don't take one there. If you're a dynasty team where you're like, I'm feeling good. I had a couple guys in my taxi. Maybe you had Igbuka on your taxi all off season, or all season, I should say. And you're like, I'm ready to bump him up into my roster. I just need a quarterback. Maybe you got lucky with Jackson Dart. He's on your taxi. If that's the next piece to your puzzle and you need another quarterback, that's not a bad pick there.
For sure. And pointing to that, this is always for me, I do it team dependent. At some point, you got to take best player available. But I'm also looking at my team. If I have stacked wide receivers, I might not be taking Makai Lemon or Jordyn Tyson. If I have, let's just say, I've seen teams like this have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, they drafted Emeka Egbuka, then they have Garrett Wilson. It's like you don't necessarily need that quarterback or you're that wide receiver, and your quarterbacks are Sam Darnold and Justin Fields. All right, then, you get your quarterback, right? So for me, it does become team dependent based on what your roster looks like and how you want to build that. But there are times where it's like, all right, go out there and take that top player that's on your board as well. So we have our 104 out. Who would you take at 105?
105, I'm taking Carnell Tate. I've been a Carnell Tate fan all offseason. I've been beating the drum for him, and he has been doing nothing but proving me right, man. He's just looked great. That catch last weekend, I don't know if you saw it, double covered in the end zone, just absolutely mossed a couple guys. I mean, he just looks like he can do it all, man. And I know people weren't always on my level there with his route running, but I feel like he's really grown as a route runner even this year. I think he can showcase his ability to twitch a little bit and get past defenders pretty easily. And, my motto is always just take the Ohio State wide receivers, man. They're going to be good. He's going to end up probably a top 20 pick in this draft. Right. He's going to go somewhere that needs to funnel the ball to him, and he's shown the ability to do that. I love the way he cuts back in on a lot of routes to get open for his quarterback, breaking inward so that there's more open space in between him and the quarterback. So even if he ends up on a team with, maybe a Cam Ward or, somebody like that who's not quite as experienced, he's going to find ways to get open. But he's showcased his ability to just be all over the field. and he's really just eaten with the amount of double, triple, quadruple coverage that Jeremiah Smith has been seeing all year, and he's still got a good stat line too. But he's just been on the other side of the field annihilating defenses. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of him. And like I said, that's basically a trio where at this point, any order, if you like Lemon more, if you like Tyson more, whatever, but he's in contention for me to potentially in the next couple of weeks bump up to my wide receiver 1. So happy to take him at 105.
No, absolutely love it. I love that you brought up his route running because before the season started, I was assuming in my thoughts, like, all right, they have Jeremiah Smith, who's the guy who can go deep, has nice and can do the routes and everything, where Carnell Tate's going to be the more physical type of wide receiver, just your contested stats kind of guy, go up there and really be aggressive. He has improved on the route running. I mean, in that play alone that you were talking about where he snagged it over, he does make that sudden cut, that sudden move where it's just fast enough that the defender can adjust correctly. Next thing you know, he gets behind that defender, gets into double coverage, but he still brings it down. That was a phenomenal play by Julian Sayin, but it was even better by Carnell Tate because not every wide receiver is making that catch. Not every wide receiver is going to let two defenders get in between it and make it, right? And he went out there and did it. So I absolutely love that pick. You can't go wrong with the Ohio State wide receiver. And let's be honest, if Jeremiah Smith was on Ohio State, we'd be talking a lot more about Carnell Tate as the potential wide receiver 1 of this class. But unfortunately, as Jeremiah Smith, it's a sophomore guy going there, but he's still really good. He's still a solid wide receiver. It's just a funnel that's going on there at Ohio State, and Tate is going to be the next one up. That's going to be a first-round pick for them. So absolutely phenomenal pick. I mean, 6 touchdowns on the season, and we're halfway through, right? He still has a lot more to go, and they're number 1 for a reason. It's because they have 2 elite wide receivers in Tate and Jeremiah Smith there as well.
Yeah, and talk about saying, I know he's not a part of this conversation for this episode, but man, he's looked really good lately, for being a young guy. He's everything they could have imagined at this point. I think he's got a future as a potential 101 draft pick. So very exciting if you're an Ohio State fan, which unfortunately I'm not, but
me either. It's all right. We got our ducks sign over here. So we don't
I don't know if we've talked, but congrats. I mean, you not only beat my guys, took away our national hopes, you got my coach fired too. So.
we started it. It was a long time coming. No, Penn State. I mean, speaking of it, that's quarterback Drew Aller. With the injuries, that's what we're saying. This quarterback class was so considered to be so deep. We're either seeing guys this fall where it's like, all right, they're not going to be first-round picks, or Norris Sellers, Arch Manning, guys there, it's like, all right, they're going to wait another year, right? You're saying. So you just brought Julian Sayin, and then I don't mean to get off topic, but the Norris Sellers, Arch Manning, Julian Sayin, DJ Lagway, who was once considered a top asset, gained a new coach, Napier got fired, Dylan Rayola, 5 guys right there that honestly, if they all get it together, we could see the first 5 picks be quarterbacks next year as well, just on how
absolutely
the talent happened with them as well. So Julian Saints absolutely playing phenomenal. He was someone too that felt a little slower to start the season. It seems like he understands now. All right, I got the degree. I know what Ohio State's about. I know what Big Ten's about.
Absolutely.
And that's scary for teams. Like he's not the quarterback that Will Howard was. He's better in my opinion. He has more mobility to his game. He has a little bit quicker throw to it. He has a little better accuracy on the darts that he's throwing, deep fields. Everything about it was just a little bit extra that they needed for that juice there. Appreciate Brazzell joining here as well here. But we had our Y105, so you took Carnell Tate, so now I'm at 106, which, all right, my board so far is the top 5 where we're at, so we're good here. So my 106 is going to be who I think could be in contention. It's harder because he did take the L to Indiana, but Dante Moore, Oregon. We've seen Dylan Gabriel's the exception, right? He went in round 3. But Gabriel, in my opinion, I don't think a lot of people had him in round 3, and he ended up going there. Year before, we saw Bo Nix go as a top 12 pick. I think Dante Moore is going to be the next quarterback from Oregon that's just going to see heavy success. A lot of it could be based on how they do in the playoffs. I do think their team is a lot better. I think it runs a lot smoother with Dante Moore. We see it time and time again. He's looking all over the field. He doesn't have one primary target. He's able to scan the field effectively. Granted, the game against Indiana, the last 2 drives, he had 2 interceptions, just bad throws on his part. Every quarterback makes mistakes, so I'm not going to hang him for that or anything like that. It's still a lot for him to go out there and shine. He has mobility to extend the play, and he just feels really confident in it. A lot more really that I think it really benefited him sitting behind Gabriel, a guy that's went through tons of adversity through his collegiate career, to now say, okay, this is how I battled through it. when I take an L, when I, throw an interception, how do you come back and recuperate from that? I believe he does that very effectively. And I think teams are going to fall in love with that. He's a leader on the field. He's going to be someone that gets the guys in the huddle really good to go. He also has the ability to just be, as you mentioned, a rushing quarterback. He's not going out there and getting 700 yards or anything, but he's someone that I feel almost like a Herbert in the sense where he could have a game where he has 60, 80 rushing yards and 400 passing yards as well. So that's going to equate to a rushing touchdown maybe here and there as well.
Another Oregon guy. Good comp.
For Herbert there.
Big bodies. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Dante Moore will do well in the NFL. Oregon runs a nice, good offense that gets their players ready for the NFL. We're seeing Ches Johnson go off tonight as well. So there's a lot of good things to come. And I think Dante Moore is really going to benefit from that. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think Dante Moore, and I called myself a hater of him coming into the year, and he has completely shut me up. I've written about him on the Substack. I've talked about him on the podcast. I think he honestly has the best arm of any quarterback that we're talking about in contention for the first round next year of Dynasty rookie drafts. His arm is just awesome, man. He throws that ball downfield with such velocity, and it looks effortless, and he places it all over the field. It's a real shame that they lost Stewart to start the year, but him and DeCorian Moore have been absolutely lighting it up together. He's just showing exactly what, people like me, haters, needed to see to shut up. So, yeah, I'm a big fan. I probably would have taken him here as well. So, great pick.
I would say haters, man. We have our guys in. When we're talking about our guys in the Devy community that we're down on, we want them to prove us wrong. Like, go out there and show us why there's hype around you, right? And that's what Dante's done. A lot of players have done that to me where I'm like, all right, I wasn't familiar with your game like that, but you're showing me about it, right? But no, I mean, I think there is a lot more to come in. If that loss didn't happen in Indiana, I think we'd be seeing mocks of him in the 101, but you got to give it to the undefeated guy, right?
How can you blame it, right? With Indiana, too. They're just unstoppable right now, man. They look great.
Yeah. And it wasn't a fluke. They're still dominating even after.
Exactly.
So it's not like a fluke win where you see some teams get that upset and the next week they go out there and win by 3 or get blown out. It's not like that as well. But so that's our 106. Dante Moore. Go ahead and tell us who you would take at 107.
Yeah, 107, I think I'm going to take, going off that same kind of theme, I'm going to take Ty Simpson because I've been seeing his name get a little bit of buzz in that 101, possibly to the Jets conversation. And he's somebody who I've already started writing up for my Risers and Fallers article this week. He's just looked absolutely phenomenal all year. He only has 1 interception. Obviously, they started the year with that loss to Florida State where he didn't throw a pick, but he didn't look great. It was his worst game, as a whole. I think he was just barely over 50% completion. It just looked ugly. It was the first game of the year. They weren't even sure necessarily if he was going to be the starter to come out. So I'm not going to put that as a big knock on him in the middle of August or the end of August. If you want to lose a game, that's the way to do it. And since then, he's just almost gotten better. The further they get into the SEC play, every week he's just looking better and better and better. He's putting up 200, 300-yard games, multi-touchdown every game. Doesn't throw any interceptions. I think he's up to 18 or 19 touchdowns on the year with one pick. Just putting the ball everywhere, man. And I think that he's the biggest riser in the quarterback class so far this year.
Agreed.
As the third quarterback, off the board, I'm happy to take him here. I think that he's got an opportunity to really be a top 5 pick in the upcoming draft, which means he's going to go at worst, he's going to be roughly in the Cam Ward ADP era.
Right. No, and again, I will remind our viewers, we do not know who our picks are at this point. We're just going off the top of what we would be taking the other guy. Ty Simpson was my 107 here. Absolutely love everything you're saying. I agree. He's one of the biggest risers. It really becomes because for me, for example, I was counting him out because, like, dude, you've been in the league so much and we haven't seen anything. Like, I don't think you're going to come out here and just be phenomenal for Alabama to do what they did. He adjusted after that Florida State loss, and he has took Alabama back to say, look, I made my mistakes in the sense that they lost. Like, there wasn't really mistakes from him in that game, but I made my mistakes, and now I'm going to adjust and make it happen. He's someone I believe has, like, let me pull it up here. I just had it. 1 interception, if I'm not mistaken. One interception on 18 touchdowns right now. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm very hesitant on I've been hesitant on my Alabama quarterbacks. People got to remind me that I was in the Saban era because I was always like, they have a ton of talent around them. Right. Quarterbacks look nice, but it's not really the quarterbacks. It's the talent around them that makes them look good. Simpson, Ryan Williams is there. I know Jerry Bernard is there. Williams has kind of been banged up and it's been lingering for him. It hasn't been the same. Their running backs haven't been as much. So it really has been Simpson making plays by himself to go out there and extend it and make it happen.
Very much like Mendoza in that way.
Right. And I think that I have to remind myself, like I have to look at it like that. This isn't a Saban offense with the Boer one who got Penix drafted as a top pick. We might end up seeing Ty Simpson go. And this is even if they don't have a play. I mean, they're getting in the playoffs more than likely unless they take another L. But this is a team that could go far in the playoffs to potentially challenge for the national contention because Ty Simpson is there. Now, I do want to ask because I know a lot of people are high on this guy as well. Would you rather have Ty Simpson or Jalen Monroe?
Probably Ty Simpson, only because of, I guess the retrospect lens, right? Mm-hmm. But I think Milrow's got talent. We've seen a little bit of flashes out of him, even at the NFL, the preseason and such. Simpson, though, I think has that opportunity in front of him where if you really get that draft capital, I mean, you said it yourself, look at Michael Penix, you get somebody who maybe doesn't look like coming into the season or even as the season goes on that they're going to be that high, and then they end up being a top 10 draft pick. And they're going to get an opportunity. Nobody's wasting that first round pick on a guy that they're not going to use. Look at Jackson Dart. He relegated Russell Wilson to the graveyard after 1 week after a 400-yard game. You know what I mean? So when the capital's there, they're going to get opportunities. So I anticipate him being in the first round of this NFL draft class. So I think everything he's shown us right now, he looks like a guy who can command an offense pretty well at the NFL level. I don't know if he's going to have that upside to be, a QB1 every week for you necessarily, but everybody plays Superflex now and you need quarterbacks. So absolutely, this is a point where in the back half of a first round, I'm happy to take him.
No, absolutely great comp there. Just saying that, and the identity, if he gets the first round capital, Milrow didn't, and that's where you kind of got to look at it. I feel Milrow, don't get me wrong, Milrow's a baller. Like he's someone that tell him just go play the game, he's gonna love it. He still, I think, needs to adjust his IQ in the game a little bit more. Where Simpson, I feel, just plays smart. He's not forcing those throws. Like Monroe has an arm where he's like, I'm just gonna throw it, and I know my guys down there, kind of right. Simpson, I don't know is necessarily doing that. Like, of course, he has the arm to make those throws, but he's a lot more smarter with what he's doing in the backfield. He's adjusting, he's scanning a little bit more.
I wouldn't call him necessarily a cannon guy. He doesn't have an absolute rocket arm, but he's really reading the field well, and that's all that really matters at the NFL, because you need to be able to understand what the defenses are doing on a play-by-play basis, and you got to know where your guys are going to be, and you got to get the ball there. So yeah, I think he could have a good future as a starter for several years or more at the NFL level.
Right. No, I agree. And honestly, he may be someone that doesn't pop, but I mean, we're seeing resurgence in like Sam Darnold, right? Coming in, Baker Mayfield, 28-29, coming in, starting to have a season, Geno Smith, where Simpson, I wouldn't count him out because I feel he's going to have a great NFL long career, where if it doesn't pop off rookie season, he's someone that he's going to get his time and it's going to shine there for him as well. So that became the 107. So now we're at 108. My 108 right now is going to be the other running back off the board. I'm going to take Washington's running back, Jonah Coleman here. I absolutely love this kid's game. I think he's a phenomenal rusher. I kind of comp him to Trey Benson, just in the way that he makes his cut. He makes a good, solid one-step cut, and then he's gone. Benson, I believe, is faster, but Jonah Coleman continues to rise. Every time I watch the field, his vision's always visible. Like I'm seeing, like, all right, this guy's hitting the holes that he needs to hit. On top of that, he's making defenders miss. He does have some contact balance where he can make them slip off him, but he's gonna get you on that initial cut, because what he'll do is he'll see the defender right in front of him, make the cut, but he's making the cut to an open space, and then he's gone, and you're not gonna catch him. So at this point, when it comes down to later picks, a running back that I would consider could be RB2 of the class, I think is a great one there, and I would absolutely love to have him on my teams. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, that's a great pick. I was going to take him next. He's clearly the other very talented running back that I think will be going in the 1-2 is pretty much set at this point, unless anything crazy happens the remainder of the season. We did a way too early mock draft about a month ago, and I had him over Love. And Love has done enough since then to, take that back, and I think rightfully so. But Coleman's looked fantastic, man. I think I comped him in the offseason to Maurice Jones-Drew, and then he, showed up at a playing weight of like 15 pounds lighter than he was last year. I think he's down closer to like 220, 225 now. And it's really shown in his game, because he's got a little bit more of that speed, a little bit more of that lateral agility to his game. he's shown what he can do, when you get him the ball anyway, screen passes, he's taking it to the house. He's all over the field. I absolutely love this kid. I'm excited for him to be on a lot of my teams. When you're talking about these picks here in the back half, hopefully I got some late round picks that I didn't burn, trading away. Right. I can add to a roster that's ready to compete.
Fair. Yeah, I think this one, with this draft class, I feel it's filled with some guys that it's like we're iffy on, but if they go to the right fit, they could have one of the best seasons we've seen.
Absolutely.
Kind of, but it's really going to be these back ones. It's like, I don't think it's gonna have to be in the right fit. It's not you go anywhere and you're gonna ball out, right? It's like
that's a lot of running backs anymore too. We don't see that many workhorses anymore. There's not a lot of the Kyron Williams type work shares that are floating about anymore. Everybody's in a split. I mean, look at Henderson, man. That's breaking my heart watching him do absolutely nothing. So you think that some of these guys are bulletproof, or then they go to one of these old school coaches that just don't want to do it. Unfortunately,
it's like no, we're gonna run with the guy that's not doing anything for us, but you're good to stay on our team, right? So
right.
No, I agree there, and that's where the running backs becomes hard to really value, because you always say, "Oh, we thought Henderson was going to be taking over Monte's role," and it's like, "Oh, it's not really happening." So always becomes harder to value or adjust those running backs in the rankings, because it's figuring out what they're going to do correctly, or what the coach is really going to do. Because they can have, we just said, the draft class this past year is very deep at the running back class. I thought 10 could have gone in the first 3 rounds. Only 5 went. And then we're not even seeing all those 5 really be effective in that sense as well. So that would be our 108. You have the 109. Who would you be taking?
109. I am taking Chris Brazzell out of
Okay.
Tennessee, man. I wrote about him last week. I think there's a pretty good shot that he's going to be a first-round pick here in the upcoming NFL draft class. He's got a huge body, 6'5". He's about 200 pounds. So he's got that lean, lanky frame, but he's got that height to be a good, half a foot taller than a lot of these defensive backs that are going to be covering him.
Right.
And he's just looked absolutely phenomenal so far this year for Tennessee, man. It's just been a great year for him. His draft stock has risen tremendously, I would say.
Yeah.
Coming into this year, I don't think a lot of people were having a lot of buzz on him. He might be a great pick for a lot of those depleted drafts, or maybe he wasn't on some Devy rosters, depending on the size of your Devy league.
Right.
So what I like the most is Tennessee's got a more advanced pro level type offense this season than they've ever really had, at least on their last few years of Heupel. Totally just different, designs and different play action schemes, and a pro ready type of wide receiver that they're utilizing exactly as that. So I think that's going to translate really well to the way that he can adapt quickly to the NFL game. So I don't expect him to be one of those guys like a Quentin Johnson or whatever that you're sitting on for a couple of years without production. I'm not saying he's going to come out and be an alpha immediately, but I think that he's going to have an opportunity to produce pretty quickly in the NFL. So at the back half of the first round, I'm happy to take him.
No, I absolutely love that pick. I actually had him at the 112. So Maddie took him a little bit earlier than I wanted him to drop to me. But no, I absolutely think that's a great pick. And I agree. He wasn't on Devy radar, at least not on my radar, coming into the season. But right now, 39 receptions, 602 yards, 7 touchdowns. And I started to come around to saying, what if he is this year's Brian Thomas Jr.? Like, we're not necessarily counting him out, but he's someone that you took at 109. He's someone that could slide in the back end of your first round, but then he may lead the rookies in touchdowns because he has that big frame, as you mentioned, 6'5", 200 pounds. He's a nice route runner, and he's not the Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee. He's not just a one-trick pony. Like, he's going down deep and then making adjustments with his hips, with his cuts, whatever he's doing to get the ball and make the play happen. It's kind of similar on what we saw Brian Thomas Jr. do at LSU and then what he did in Jacksonville. I think Chris Brazzell could be on that trajectory to potentially lead the rookies in touchdowns because of that opportunity. Even if he's not stretching the field, when you're in the red zone, who are you going to throw it to? Your 6'5" guy. And he's someone that can easily go up there and make those plays and make those big things happen, where I'm coming around a lot more to him. My guy Tom Harvey be happy that I'm saying that because he's a Tennessee guy. But that's –
oh, yeah, I forgot.
yeah. So, I'm thinking like, all right, man, this is a guy where one reason why I'm not a fan of doing these shows, because some people I'm in leagues with watch it. And I've been talking about Chris Brazzell a lot. Like, I'm hoping he gets back in the fresh for me. You just took it at 109. I know guys are watching that in my leagues.
Right.
Like, he's not going to get to you now if I see you there. So, but no, I absolutely love the talent there. He's doing great. And I think he is someone that is easy to rise. You said first round potential. I see it. So absolutely great pick there as well.
Thank you.
Now, 110 here since you took the 112 from me there. All right, I'm gonna hope this guy gets to me. I'm gonna hope you're gonna pass on this guy, so I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna go another quarterback here. I'm gonna go Baylor quarterback Sawyer Robertson. This is a guy that right now leads the nation in passing yards. He has 2,376 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, does have 7 interceptions. So I want him to clean that up a little bit more compared to the other guys we were talking about earlier. But he is someone that has that size you want in a quarterback. He's someone that continues to show his mobility as well. He can get out and make some big plays happen. But he's really your prototypical quarterback. And it's not the RG3 from Baylor's. He's a quarterback that has the IQ, the intelligence to go out there and lead a team and really understand an offense and break it down well. I think Sawyer Robertson right now with a Baylor being 4-3, even with that record, I think he's still going to be a potential first-round pick because of what he's doing and how he's been developing. He looks phenomenal. Last year at 3,000 yards. This year he's at 2,300 already. Still has 6 games left to play, 5 games if I'm not mistaken. And really he's doing good things. I mean, he's only been sacked 12 times. He's not someone that's going to really go around the backfield and just kind of sit there and get the sack. He's going to extend the play for his wide receivers and go out there and make it happen. And he's been doing that with his arm. And he has a cannon too. You talked about Dante Moore having a great arm. Sawyer Robinson does as well. He can hit it 50, 60 yards, those type of deep throws, and really hit it on the money. So honestly, what I'm seeing in Sawyer Robinson is what I want to see in Garrett Nussmeier. And I'm not seeing that. And I'm really adjusting to say, all right, Sawyer Robinson is the guy that's layering the ball at every level of the field, where we're not seeing that necessary for, Garrett Nussmeier there as well. But right now, I would take him here at the 110. Any thoughts on Sawyer?
Yeah, I like that. I think I've been pretty high on the entire Baylor offense this year. I think that a lot of them are kind of floating under the radar a little bit. They're not getting quite as much buzz as I might like. And that's a good thing for us, savvier Dynasty and Devy players, because there's guys like him, Bryson Washington, Michael Trigg, who I think might all sneak into, if not the first round, like day 2 capital. And they're going to be great picks for you either at the end of the first round or somewhere in the second round. When you're trying to rebuild a Devy roster and you got some of those, cheaper picks, easier to acquire guys. And Sawyer Robinson specifically feels like one of those guys who, maybe 4 or 5 quarterback, quarterbacks always go early in the draft. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of those better teams that ends up with a later round, first round pick takes him so that they can lock in that 5th year on his contract. Or maybe he sneaks into day 2 and a smarter team trades up for him, like we saw the Eagles do a few years ago with Jalen Hurts. These better teams are going to be sniffing around for guys like Sawyer Robinson who might not have the buzz to be those higher end talents, but they're going to be, looking around for the future, where maybe he doesn't get a landing spot where he's going to start right off the bat, but he's got a future to, open the door a little bit for him. So I like that pick a lot. He's definitely one of those guys who's floating around. We've talked about the quarterbacks already that I think are going to go pretty high. He's one of those guys that's in that next tier of quarterbacks. Absolutely.
Fair. Yeah. Imagine, you talk about possibly not playing that first weekend. What if he goes to the Rams, right? And Matthew Stafford plays another year.
Exactly.
I'll take that chance, right? And
what if he goes to the Steelers because they need to draft a quarterback in front of the home crowd Pittsburgh draft next year? You never know, right?
Exactly.
So,
and they
something
get
like that,
there.
I can see that happening.
And I would absolutely love that. A guy that you look at it at the draft where you're like, all right, maybe he doesn't start year 1. But then think about what he's doing. Again, I think he's someone that can elevate his wide receivers to be better. And we're seeing that because Josh Cameron's a great wide receiver. Bryson Washington's a great running back. Michael Trig's a great tight end. But I feel they work in tandem where it's not really one's making them better or anything like that, right? So it definitely becomes something here as well. But that's going to be all big things here for it to come. But I absolutely love what he's going to do there. And I think he can, exceed at that next level as well. Any thoughts on, or not any thoughts, you already said it, but 111, it's on you.
111. So there's 2 wide receivers here that I like.
All right, don't take the one I'm thinking of.
And I'm going to take Jeremy Bernard. So hopefully that wasn't your guy.
Fair. Love it.
I think I gave you a little bit of a heads up too. I was kind of locked in on him as a potential late round pick or perhaps honorable mention. I really liked him, man. He's shown, we talked about Ty Simpson already. We talked about Ryan Williams being kind of that guy there, but he hasn't been quite the guy that we expected out of this year for him. So Jeremy Bernard's really become the wide receiver 1 in that offense. And he was a 4-star recruit. He's got a nice big size. He's 6'1", about 210. He's been following DeBoer all around, transferring from Washington. I think he transferred from Michigan State prior to that. So that he could play with DeBoer. He reminds me a lot of Debo, and I know that the other guy I was thinking about taking, Chris Bell, is getting a lot of Debo comps. Yeah. But he's one of those guys that they're utilizing in a variety of ways. They're giving him backfield touches because we mentioned, they don't have obviously Jam Miller got hurt. They don't have the greatest backfield right now, so they're finding ways to get him the ball, and he's showing out and he's doing it. He's all over the field. He seems like a yak machine. Again, I wrote about him a few weeks ago on my risers and fallers, and he's just sure-handed. He rarely drops the ball, right? And that's the kind of guy you want on an NFL offense. I don't know that he ends up getting round 1 capital in the NFL draft. He might sneak in there, but I think he's a pretty surefire day 2 pick, probably round 2 kind of guy who's going to go to an offense and immediately contribute. So I'm pretty excited for the future with him. He's another one where, I'm hoping that he lands on a decent offense that has some targets vacated. I'd love to see him in a place like we see Keenan Allen right now in LA. He can't play another year, right? Right. That would be a great place as I know it's a third wide receiver scenario, but just put him in a good offense, man. We're seeing all the wide receivers there eat right now. Well, Lad, I guess, really isn't eating as much as we'd like, but put him in an offense like that where they're going to utilize him properly, and I'd love it.
Put him there with Kansas City, another AFC East team, right? Absolutely, you have Rasheed Rice and him, and then Worthy. No, absolutely love Jeremy Bernard. That was a great pick there as well. And we're not talking enough about Jeremy Bernard because there's still high expectations for Ryan Williams. Just like we were about Carnell Tate, we're not talking enough about him because there's Jeremiah Smith. Take away Smith, take away Williams. You're talking about Jeremiah Bernard. You're talking about Carnell Tate. Jeremy Bernard, someone that, again, you mentioned moved with his coach DeBoer from Washington, has really gone through it, and he's been developed as a good wide receiver. He's a trusted wide receiver, really kind of like a lad in a sense where he's just someone that can fit in your slot mold if you want and really just be the target merchant for your team and go out there and make those big plays happen for it as well. And better than that, he's someone that can complement a good X-alpha wide receiver. I wouldn't necessarily say Jeremy Bernard could be the X, but he can definitely be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 as form in the slot to an alpha X wide receiver. Honestly, even the Texans, get him opposite of Nico Collins. I think that would be a great fit for him as well. But no, that was a great pick, and I think Bernard, there could be first-round buzz when it's all said and done. Again, that's going to be because Ty Simpson is doing some great things. If Ty Simpson moves in there, then I think we're going to be saying Bernard's going to have to move in there as well, just because how he's leading it. But on top of that, I don't think he falls past the second round. I think he's going to be a second-round pick.
Yeah, he's got the NFL talent, he's got NFL size, and he's got an NFL leadership, mindset, maturity, and I like those intangibles a whole lot. And when you look at the back end of the first round, like look at last year, we got guys like Burden, we got guys like Matthew Golden, these guys who have something of an upside, but we're not really anticipating that any of these guys going this late are going to be like true alphas. We're not looking at them as being the wide receiver 1 on our dynasty team, and that's the kind of guy I wanted to grab right there, where you feel like there's a role for him to contribute, be a wide receiver 2 on your team that's going to win a championship.
Yeah, this draft class is really top heavy as far as the top guys are the top guys. Then we do have a dip in the tiers, I feel like. But this is where it takes it. All right, well, who's at the top of the next tier for you? Bernard could be one of those. With the 112 and the final pick of the first round, you did not take my guy, and I wonder if there was your other guys. Think it might have been. I'm going to take Denzel Boston out of Washington.
No, I had Chris Bell coming, but Denzel, he's right there on my honorable mentions. So that's a good pick.
It's funny because Chris Bell was in my honorable mentions as well. So Denzel Boston, big wide receiver, 6'3", 6'4", just had up 6'4", 210 pounds. Right now, 515 yards, 6 touchdowns. He has phenomenal concentration, man. I mean, you look at what this guy does when he's tracking the ball down the field, and then once the ball is in the radius of his hands, where we can catch radius, he is going up there and making the plays with pure concentration. There was one play, and I forget who the team that it was against, where the ball kind of juggles, but yet he still maintains concentration. This is all in the air, and then he comes down with the ball. The defensive back is trying to beat it out of his hand, trying to do everything they can. He is maintaining that concentration, bringing it down. This is a guy that I feel is really what we want Jeremiah McClellan. Not Jeremiah, that's Oregon. Jalen McClellan from Tampa now. Well, we want him to be just that type of wide receiver that can go up there and get it. I think Boston's really going to be that. He's not necessarily going to be your slot guy like Odunze is. He could fit into a mold to be an X wide receiver, in my opinion. Just someone that's going to be very smart with it. He has nice moves. He knows how to adjust his hips to make moves on the defender. He can make the cuts he needs to do in the open field. He's something that's very agile, has speed, could win those foot races. I think he's going to be someone that we're going to be talking about in that bunch of the first round, like you mentioned, Chris Bell, Jerry Bernard, Denzel Boston. I think that's going to be a solid next bunch of wide receivers that it's really going to be pick your poison type of deal when it comes to them on who you rather have. But I think he's someone, like you mentioned with Jerry Bernard, you would say with Chris Bell, he could possibly get that first round capital in the NFL. But other than that, I think he's a lock in on a day 2 pick.
I've seen him going in some way too early first round drafts at the end of the rounds there, end of the round. Fantastic. And what I like about him, he had a catch against Michigan where he kind of made a slant across the field in between 2 defenders. Quarterback didn't put it perfectly placed, and he had to jump up and get it and caught it way behind his head. He has this like fantastic body control even when he's in midair. Like he has this ability to just have this amazing catch radius because of his overall body length and body control. When he's moving, it's like his arm could go one way, his legs could go the other. It's a fun thing to watch. And yeah, he's definitely not getting as much buzz. I know he's been kind of on the radar for everybody, but not getting as much buzz as I would have expected at this point in the season. Maybe because he's playing for Washington, that's another team with a little bit of underrated players. Totally.
Yeah, I'm over here taking 2 of their players here, and Jonah, Coleman, and Denzel Boston. We talk about their quarterback and Devin Williams. I mean, someone again that if you need to take a flyer, I wouldn't take him in the first, but someone that could be a flyer there for you as well. But yeah, I absolutely love Denzel Boston, what he can do. So that goes into our top 12. Let me recap it here for y'all. So you took Jeremiyah Love at the 101, running back from Notre Dame. I went and took Makai Lemon at the 102, USC wide receiver. Then you went Jordan Tyson, Arizona State wide receiver. Then Fernando Mendoza with the 104, Indiana quarterback. Then we took Carnell Tate, 105, Ohio State wide receiver. Dante Moore, 106, Oregon quarterback. Ty Simpson, 107, Alabama quarterback. 108, Jonah Coleman, Washington running back. 109, Chris Brazzell, Tennessee wide receiver. 110, Sawyer Robertson, Baylor quarterback. 111, Jerry Bernard, Alabama wide receiver. And then 112, Denzel Boston, Washington wide receiver. That caps out our 2026 rookie mock draft as we were doing it right now. So before we do that, I'll have you say 2 honorable mentions, and I'll say 2 as well. But yeah, some guys that we think could, possibly sneak into that first round pick. Who are some honorable mentions for you?
Yeah, so big drop off after those 2 guys at running back, right?
Yeah.
I think Nick Singleton is still gonna. I think hopefully they use him more in the second half now with interim coach Terry Smith. They get a little bit more carries for him, but also Kaytron's been absolutely killing it, and he's not too far off the school record for rushing yards.
Okay.
I think Kaytron Allen, I've always said he's got a guaranteed future as an NFL running back. He brings that physical game that you absolutely need. I don't think he has, a full-blown, alpha, elite, Bijan Robinson type future, but I think he's going to be a significant part of any NFL offense because you want those kind of guys that are thumpers, that crave contact. His stock has risen tremendously. He's got to be in that second-tier conversation after the big drop-off between Love and Coleman. So I think Kaytron is going to be, if he gets a decent day 2 capital somewhere, second or third round, he's going to be floating right there towards the end of the first round or early second round. Right. We didn't talk about any tight ends, but I think Kenyon Sadiq is probably going to be a first round pick in the NFL. And I think he's great. Him and Michael Trigg are like neck and neck for my tight end one in this class. I like Trigg's overall receiving, I think, a little bit more, but Kenyon is a fantastic tight end for the NFL game, which is why I think he might get first round capital. And he's a very good receiver in his own right. So he's somebody who's going to get playing time. He's going to be on the field quite often, and he has that upside to be a touchdown machine for an NFL offense. So when you're talking about tight ends, there's very rarely do you want to grab them in a first round pick. There's the Brock Bowers of the world and things like that. But a lot of classes look like this, right? Where the last class did too. There's a ton of value to be found in the second round, the third round of dynasty drafts. I think Kenyon's going to be sitting right around, the back half of the first round or early second round with a decent draft capital that I anticipate from him.
Fair. And if you're playing tight end premium, he might be earlier than that, or Trigg may be earlier than that as well. But no, I absolutely agree with Kenyon Sadiq. He's someone that he wants to go out there and block. That's why he'll see time in the NFL, because he's a solid wide receiver, but he's also aware of what his blocking, what's the word I'm looking for? Tools, not tools. what he needs to do in blocking. His role, blocking role.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I was trying to think like what's that word? His blocking role. He understands where he needs to be to block for the running backs down the field, or even just get a block for the quarterback and then get outside and be open for the quarterback there as well. Just a little bump, and then he's gone as well. Phenomenal athlete. He made the freak list. Absolutely love Kenyon Sadiq. Michael Trigg, I think, is you're right, could be the one tight end 2 of the class there. And then you also mentioned Kaytron Allen. I actually love that you brought him up because I don't think he gets a lot of love for it. And it simply could be because Penn State's not doing that. But even before, a lot of people were saying Singleton's the better running back. And I'm not saying he's not, but I think the drop in the tiers was a lot closer than what people thought. A lot of people I thought had Singleton way so high and Kaytron not so much. But really is very close. Kaytron Allen's really that power back. He could really go in there. He could be a nice goal line back, short and inches type of back, but really go out there and make the big plays. And as you mentioned, those teams want that thumper. That's going to be Kaytron Allen. You put him in somewhere where,
absolutely,
let's say David Montgomery goes somewhere else. Put him there with Jamar Gibbs.
Oh, that would be a perfect fit.
What that is.
Yeah.
So, you have those opportunities for those type of running backs. He's not someone that's going to do anything in the passing game. He'll get you receptions here and there, but it's really going to be about those short yardage, just him just bruising a defensive down that he's going to end up breaking away and getting that big play.
Yeah, he's going to be one of those guys where if you have him, you're happy. And
right.
if you have his running back mate, you're going to be really pissed because he's going to steal a lot of touchdowns.
Exactly. No, 100% there. Some guys I'll give an honorable mention to. I will do this guy because he did take a dip because I feel a few weeks ago we had it, then he got injured. That has to be Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer. Really just kind of changed over that offense at Oklahoma. We saw what it was with Jackson Arnold. He came in and really made it his own. Oklahoma's doing great things when he's at the helm specifically. I know Hawkins is there too, but Mateer, I'm absolutely in love with what he's doing. He's someone that blew my expectations out the way. I was like, all right, you're just doing what you were going to do at Washington State. You're not going to get away with it in the SEC. He really is getting away with it, though. He's a smart quarterback. He can make every throw he delivers. Again, he can extend those plays. And you were mentioning rushing quarterbacks. If he ends up going further with Oklahoma down the playoffs, he's going to be sliding into that first round because of his rushing upside.
Without a doubt. Yeah, he has that great missed tackle ability. He's really good on his feet, which is awesome. And he has that insane mechanics where he can kind of get the ball out at any arm angle, which is really cool. I was never like the biggest, and Dustin, my co-host, is really, really high on Mateer.
Right.
Great choice for this honorable mentions because I think if we were talking a month ago, he would have been easily in this mock draft here. So
for sure,
very good pick. Yeah.
No, I think there's gonna be great things to do with him there as well. And I'll bring up Trigg. That was one of my other guys that I had actually here because you brought up Sadiq. Michael Trigg. His biggest issue is he hasn't been able to stay on the field for his career. This season he has, and we're seeing what happens when he's healthy. Hopefully, whatever he was doing this offseason, he's like, this is the regimen I got to keep. I got to do what I was doing to maintain my health and stay healthy for the field, get rid of all the outside interactions, and just play ball and go out there and do it because he is someone like Sadiq. If he continues on the trajectory that he's having right now, he could be a first-round pick, and it could be someone that's very valuable. I mean, when he came in as a freshman, it's like, this guy is talented. We're going to love to see him. It's just been something that's been consistently not on the field. Similar to me, I'm a big fan of RJ Maryland at LSMU, but RJ Maryland doesn't stay on the field enough to really make it worth it to take that shot. I think he could have an NFL asset, but Michael Trigg is showing, look, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, I'm making a big play. So I think he could definitely go out there and make some big opportunities, and you're going to love him. Like you said, the receiving upside, think of it as not as quick Harold Fannin, but a stronger Harold Fannin, in my opinion, what Trigg can be for an NFL team at that next level as well.
I like that comp. Yeah, because there's so many teams now that are drafting tight ends that aren't really tight ends because they're spending more than half their time lining up at the slot wide receiver anyway.
Right.
Like a Fannin who's getting on the field all the time with Njoku.
Right.
It depends on where he lands, but if he's utilized properly, he's got a really big receiving upside, which is great because that's the modern NFL. Ever since Jimmy Graham came about and kind of changed the game for everybody, I still remember those debates about, he shouldn't even be listed out as a tight end. He's too much of a hack. He should be a wide receiver because that's where he lines up 70% of the time. Ever since good old Jimmy Graham, we've had a lot of these guys that have just thrived as being pure receiving tight ends, and he's fantastic. He's made some highlight catches this year, so he's going to be a fun one to take in the second round.
Jimmy Graham was the first cheat code because there was one time where he was wide receiver and tight end, like an ESPN league. So you plugged him into a wide receiver and had a tight end as like whoever was back in the day. I can't think of the
Gonzalez
top
or something.
Gonzalez, yeah. And now
We're
have
showing
two
our
Dobbins
oldness
there,
here,
right?
but
No, but actually, yeah, I think both those tight ends are honorable mentions, especially again tight end premiums. We're probably seeing 2 of these tight ends go in the back end of the first there as well. That's all we have for today. I'll ask you this just in case you want to say one, because there's always a fun one to talk about. You have any sleepers, not necessarily first round potential, but guys you're like third, fourth round rookie mocks. I think they could be good. Your Puka Nakuas of the world. Any guy there?
let's see. I didn't have any prepared. Let me look at my list. Oh, you know who I like, and he's going to be on a lot more radars after this week. I mentioned him a little bit briefly before. Jadarian Price, man. Jeremiah Love looks fantastic, but there's a reason Price has been getting as many carries as he has. It's because he's a good running back. And we just talked about the dramatic fall off after the first 2 in this class. There's going to be a lot of wide open, landing spots, wide open room for these NFL GMs to just pick the guy that they like. I would not be shocked to see an NFL team fall in love with him and take him pretty early. Earlier than we expect. So I think he's a pretty well-rounded running back. He's shown that he's got the ability to pretty much do it all. He's been a nice complimentary piece to Jeremiah Love. Notre Dame fans, I'm sure, are happy to have him right now. Notre Dame fans are not pissed that they're splitting carries as much as they are because they're getting the results. And I think he just had over 200 yards this last week too. So maybe not so much of a sleeper anymore, but he's been climbing up my board. Absolutely.
Nah, great pick there as well. And the only people that are pissed are people that have Jeremiah Love in CFF, and you get the touchdown taken away from Jadarian Price there. But no, I agree. Great pick there, and so that could be taken deeper because again, you're gonna be looking at Jeremiah Love as first round. Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price, I think, goes into maybe day 3. But he could be a value pick. We're seeing what he's doing with an elite running back and what he can do opposite of that as well. I'll throw out one sleeper just because I like talking about this guy anytime I get a chance to talk about him. That's going to be BYU wide receiver Chase Roberts. 24 receptions, 4 touchdowns on the season, 6'4", 210. My comp to him has been Kevin Walter. If y'all remember back in the day with the Houston Texans, just a very reliable wide receiver, very smart on the field, has the ability to find the soft spots in coverage, very smooth in his routes, is going up there and winning, has a nice catch radius, winning those catches and really bringing it down, but really getting open a lot for his quarterback, who's a freshman quarterback, coming out and relying on him as well. So Chase Roberts continues to climb my boards. I'm going to be stoked to grab him on my drafts. That's my guy right now for the rookie class is Chase Roberts. I'm absolutely excited to see what's going to happen with him as well.
I haven't thought about Kevin Walter in a long time, so I love that pull. Yeah, I mean, he's making Bear look really. I mean, Bear looks good on his own right, but he's really been a reliable guy for him. So that's a great sleeper pick. There's a good chance that he's drafted at some point in the draft, and if he ends up in the right spot, he's got a role to carve out for himself.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's what we have then. Chris, again, I appreciate you joining me. With the Devy Degens here and letting people know your knowledge when it comes to Devy world going on here, especially with what we did in a rookie mock draft right now. We're in October. We still have 2 months of football. We have bowl games, we have playoffs, and then we have combine. A lot of this stuff can change, but right now, this is where our minds are at. Before we go, Chris, go ahead and tell people more about the Devy Dojo and what y'all have coming.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Chris the Cardman. You can find the Devy Dojo at Devy Dojo. My co-host Dustin will be linked on that page as well. Find us on Fantasy Sports Advice Network's YouTube channels. Find us on all the audio platforms, Devy Dojo. Check out our Substack, join our Discord, all sorts of fun stuff. We're always just happy to talk ball. We're all about community, man. We just want to talk with people. We want to learn. We want to grow as analysts. And most importantly, we want to have fun with everybody. So please join us. And, at the very least, you can talk with me and SC about whatever in our Discord.
There you go. Well, man, I appreciate you joining in. As he mentioned, his co-host Dustin, he's hopping on with me on Wednesday for my Devy Planet. That's where we'll do a roster breakdown. As Chris said, the league of record for Devy Dojo and the Devy Planet is the Devy Duel. We have elite analysis for the Devy community, going head to head in a 6-on-6 matchup, 6 representing the Dojo, 6 representing the Planet. We are here to combine, and we're going to talk about those roster breakdowns on Wednesday on my show with the Devy Planet there. But for everyone tuning in, for all the Devy Degens, we appreciate all of y'all. Don't forget, we're here every Monday for y'all to talk everything college football that y'all need to know. Until next time, we hope everything's going right for y'all, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.